Okay, class. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I had a nice, quiet one with my cousin and his wife and a friend, and my daughter went to hang out with her boyfriend and his family. So it goes. And you can see I'm already getting into the Christmas thing. I do like Christmas. There's no war on Christmas in this house. All right. So yeah, so these days I don't know. I've been a little bit manic, if you will. Like I don't know if I should apologize for the last long video. For those of you who even listened to what I had to say, being a history teacher, you have already a strong stomach for negative things. Then current politics has always driven me crazy. I really think that if any of you really knew me, you would realize that I fairly complain about everybody all the time. I'm an equal opportunity hater, if you want to put it that way. But I'm also a lover. I love, and I do want to say that I just, I feel like, I go through these reflections about our history and what it means to be an American and what it means to be a human being. And what I feel privileged is that we have an opportunity to actually try to almost have a kind of therapeutic look back at ourselves. And my motto is, and it will always be, make America better, because even if it's great before, we can be greater, right? That's always a positive way of looking at it. So I'm not actually attacking a particular slogan, even just to say that people can always debate about what the past is, but we can all agree that we can always do better, right? And we can say that even as individuals. I had you watch the movie. I can see a lot of you were not in this week's project for U.S. history, and the film was very slow, and I'm sure a lot of you did not stomach through a lot of it. Whatever. It's your education, and mainly why I did that is for one thing, when you're in college, it's a good opportunity to have things shoved down your throat that you normally wouldn't sit down and do, but you will find later that the movie gets referenced a lot. You'll hear the term Birth of a Nation, and when you take 102, you'll hear how popular it was. And I kind of consider that a sort of primary text that fits into a kind of, I still think it kind of fits into putting some perspective on the legacy of the U.S. Civil War in America and how complex it's been. Now, we're moving into the pre-Civil War Civil War with John Brown. And I couldn't find the documentary. It keeps getting taken down. This is really good. So, we went through the kind of chilling documentary with Nat Turner, and that. Well, John Brown's going to be that next level. And there are three people that you don't hear much about that you should in high school. This is Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner and his rebellion, and John Brown. And I think that John Brown and Frederick Douglass, we have a lot of documentation on them, and there should really be much more going into that. So you'll find this very interesting, and I hope that, and tragic, but important again. And I want you to realize this, of course, too. John Brown is a militant, murderous, some say, you'll see, anti-slaver. And we're reading in Defending Slavery, sometimes Christians making an argument for slavery. So, but here's the whole point. Sometimes people read this and I had a girl get really upset in my class, and she said, Mr. Pollock, the Bible doesn't defend slavery, does it? Well, now she read the Bible herself, or the quotes that he had. My point is not to resolve that with anybody, but my point is that the anti-slavers were mainly Christian. The abolitionists were mainly Christians as well. So this was an inner struggle within even the Christian community as to regards the status of slavery. For all the passionate arguments that sometimes you would see, a pastor make in defense of slavery, you had very passionate Christian, conservative Christian men like John Brown, who felt that God gave him a calling to actually combat slavery with, the strong hand of the Lord. I mean, you'll see in the Potawatomi Massacre, for example. Again, I think that there's so much of this history that's been left out for a lot of students, and here you guys are getting this opportunity. And later I might show you. I was just watching this documentary clip. I've watched it several times over, and the book Lies My Teachers Told Me, and the reasons why this one sociologist discovered that so many people don't really know what's happened in this country or beyond. And right now there's a big struggle with what they call fake news, and I would argue that mainstream news is often pretty fake itself or omits a lot of things. So we're really heading for a struggle in modern times where we have more access to great information than we've ever had, and at the same time there's so much junk information that's just clogging up people's brains. So every time you find a story or something in this class that interests you, I hope that what you do is you just further your research into it, so that you're not just taking what I say or what an author says for granted, but you're actually really just pouring into it. So, okay, you've heard enough of these speeches from me before. Have a great week. Call me if you need anything. And we're getting close to the end of this class, so hang in there. All right.